guys? It's Percy once again for another amazing and stupendous and inspiring Percy's Fast Food Toy Story. Now, today's Fast Food Toy Story will be about a very Christmas character. It's from McDonald's, and it is none other than Scrooge McDuck. Okay, so this is Scrooge McDuck. Well, these are actually toys which were not made available here in the Philippines, but I think they were, readily given out as Happy Meal toys in McDonald's USA. Now, there are 100 of them, 100 different characters from Disney in order to celebrate or commemorate the 100 years of magic of Disney. Okay. I don't know, it's a good thing I have a couple of friends in the States, and I have this store, the Surplus US store in Cuba, which I often frequent, and every time I get a chance to see one of these toys, I easily get elated, and of course I have to buy them. So one of the toys that I was able to fortunately purchase is the Scrooge McDuck, celebrating the 100 years of magic of Disneyland. Now, of course, I said it's a Christmassy character because Scrooge McDuck is actually a spin-off or an allusion to Ebenezer Scrooge, that character who was not so wonderful at the beginning, that character from Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I hope that I got my author right. Yeah, I think it's Charles Dickens. Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, very famous for his expression, "Bah humbug, Christmas, bah humbug." Well, he's such a solid, very hard, stingy person at the beginning. He kind of idolized his friend Marley, who is as stingy as he is. But then Bob Marley died, and then one night Bob Marley visited Ebenezer Scrooge and told him, "Ebenezer Scrooge, please change your ways, because I don't want you to end up being chained like this, like myself. I've been so obsessed with money, with material possessions, without sharing what I have, and this is what I ended up with. I mean, I have to spend my whole eternity being chained to something that are not really very important in life." And of course, other than the forewarning of Marley to Ebenezer Scrooge, he was also visited by the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, and the ghost of what is to come, or the Christmas ghost of the future. And of course, having seen all the things, all the repercussions of his actions, Ebenezer Scrooge was a changed man. And so much so, when he was awakened on Christmas morning, he was so happy. "Oh my God, I'm still alive, I still have the chance, I have been given a second chance." And he was so tiptoeing and so happy. And then he opened his window and saw this young lad, "What day is today?" And the kid said, "It's Christmas morning." Of course, it's Christmas morning. Oh my God, thank God it's Christmas morning, so I'm really alive. So, good man, young man, if you would be so kind to buy me a huge turkey, the biggest that you can ever find. And then, of course, the little kid, the young man, was kind of startled, because knowing this guy who's so stingy with his money was all of a sudden very magnanimous, because aside from the money that is needed to buy the turkey, he also gave him a very generous tip. So he hurriedly went out and then brought back this huge turkey that Mr. Scrooge, Ebenezer Scrooge, needed. And he went to Mr. Cratchit, Bob Cratchit, and then they celebrated Christmas there. And what an ending it was! I mean, having seen this guy completely change, there is a 180-degree change from being a stingy, a very kind of selfish man, he became much more generous. So much like Christmas, a representation of Christmas. And I just hope that that particular change is not exclusive to Christmas only, but all the days of his life. And true enough, he indeed was true to his promise. So he gave Bob Cratchit his raise, and then he also promised and pledged to actually spend for everything that is needed to cure Tiny Tim, the son of Bob Cratchit, who is, who's crippled, I think. So what a changed man! What a great Christmas story, if I may do say so myself. And I guess every time we watch the Christmas Carol, this somehow evoke or kind of invites us to also make a few changes in our lives. Now, Scrooge McDuck, like I said, is actually a direct, a spin-off from Ebenezer Scrooge. I believe there is also a Walt Disney Christmas Carol, and Mickey Mouse played Bob Cratchit, Minnie Mouse Mrs. Cratchit, and then Marley was played by Goofy, the ghost of Christmas Present. I think was actually played by one of the ghost that played as the giant in Jack and the Beanstalk. And of course, I don't know. It's an amazing story, and there have been a lot of versions of that particular story, and the story or the gist of the story remains the same, that we all must change. So Christmas is all about being generous, about being giving, about being selfless, and the same way that God was selfless and so magnanimous and so generous when he gave his only begotten son to be born among us, so that we may be able to understand and to appreciate better the love that God has for each and every one of us. So come Christmas, may we also imbibe in our hearts the true meaning of Christmas, in our efforts to also become more selfless and more giving and more generous, especially to our least fortunate brothers and sisters who might want to, experience the spirit of Christmas through our help. So, to celebrate our fast food toy story for today, Scrooge McDuck, this is our song for Scrooge McDuck. Ta-da! Scrooge McDuck!
Special gift, taking time to be kind to one another. It's the time of year when the reds are near, and you wish you could give more than just presents from the store. Why don't you give love for Christmas Day? Oh, even the man who is everything would be so happy if you would bring give love on Christmas Day. The greater gift is still in love. Oh, you don't know, smiling out hello everywhere. There's a Christmas joy. It's that once a year when the world sincere, and you'd like to find a way to show the things that words can say. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? Oh, the man on the street and the couple upstairs all need to know there's someone who cares. Give love on Christmas Day. The greater gift is there than love. When the world needs his love, his world needs your love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? tears, only to know there's someone who cares. Your love on Christmas Day. The greater gift is there than love. What the world needs is love. Yes, the world needs your love. Why don't you give love on Christmas Day? A man on the street and a couple of shares, only to know there's someone who cares. Give love on Christmas Day. The greater gift is there than love.
You've got a friend in me.
The Happy Meal Players present Ronald McDonald and his singing dogs.
Good time, great taste.
The good time, great taste of McDonald's.
Take a bow wow, guys.